37.
Where's our
Okay. Okay, we're going to review the minutes next month. Community assignments.
Can I get that? Can I get the agenda?
Sure.
You should have it.
I should have it.
Yeah, it should be in that file I just gave you. And that, I'll go back and get one from the table. I can share Lori's. Here, you can
Wait a
share
minute,
mine.
Oh, this is 21, September 21. I need April 6th.
Here.
Yeah, no, it's fine, just take
April
that.
6th, I got it, yeah.
People that are new to the board, if you would take a look at the committees and let me know which one you would like to be on. That would be wonderful. There you are. Do an explanation of the things and try and accommodate people's requests. But if everybody requests one committee and there's nobody on another one, we'll use our discretion. New board members, this is not first meetings, but they're fun. This is your second meeting, correct? Appointed by Councilor Syracuse. There's a lot of new people here. Jose hopefully will be here. He was appointed by the mayor and was sworn in. For those of you that don't remember, Ruth resigned effective this meeting.
She did?
She did. Yes, she said it was going to be too much for her.
Who's that?
Ruth.
Oh, Ruth. I didn't know that.
So I would like to go on record as thanking her.
Yeah, she's been around for a while.
Mayor, it was perfect for that every time.
I believe she's today. That's the first meeting.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, she's today. Because I think she said effective this meeting,
Yep.
so. But yes, just make sure you put something, prepare that thanking her for her years of service and contributions to this committee, and also, her willingness to do hearings when things were a little crazy. Training Tuesday night, we went, Lynette, myself, Cliff, Richard, and Hatisha went to, and you guys were both on, Zoom, to a training given by the police department, on the virtual reality headset they're using it for training in how to de-escalate situations. We're going to try and get them to come to our training that we do in person, so that because you couldn't do the virtual reality from Zoom. So what we did is we actually wore these glasses and there were different scenarios. A schizophrenic person, someone who was going to commit suicide or wanted to, domestic violence scenario. I don't know what the other two looked into that, but
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was 2 others.
yeah, I'm not sure what the other two were, but like the schizophrenic one, you were at one time you were actually in the place of the person who was the schizophrenic person. Then you could switch off and be in the perspective of the police officer who was responding. If you've never done a virtual reality gear thing, it's really incredible. You turn around, you see behind you, you can see all the angles. And that's what the police are using to train officers on de-escalation. It's proven to be effective in other places, so hopefully it'll be effective here. They also had new tasers that are different than the old tasers in that they have 2 firing bullets. I guess I don't know if they're called bullets, but whatever.
Yeah. And the cartridge holds more than it did the last time. So before they had to once it was out, then they had to put in a whole new cartridge, where now it holds the total of 4, and you only really need 2 to really connect. And it has a lot more features in terms of what they call almost like this arc where you can turn it on and get people to disperse because they think that a taser is about to come out, and they didn't have that before, which could then de-escalate the situation. And then, so I think that in that sense, it's a different formula, and they're being trained a lot differently in how to use them in ways to de-escalate situations opposed to now. And then the other one had issues when it came to people wearing cuff coats, and that it was not able to connect as well when people had on thicker clothing, and that has been revamped.
But it just seems like the thrust of the training now is more into trying to stop a situation without using physical means to do so.
Or
I think
lethal
that's
force,
great. So-
or lethal force,
Right,
force as well.
So, going along with that, yeah.
What came out when he was explaining the problem in our communities is the fear of police officers. All they're doing is finding another way to strike more fear in individuals. I didn't get a chance to say that because I didn't want to use up too much time because I already, you know what I mean? But that wasn't okay either. You know what I'm saying? Like you find another way to agitate a situation or to agitate a person who's already agitated when they respond to something, they're seeing a person at their worst already. Now you see police officers, oh, I might die today. Oh, but you're gonna scare me. You know what I mean? So that doesn't help either. But I understand that they're trying to do something. You know, I guess something is better than nothing, but what he was saying didn't help either. You know what I mean? That I don't know what
And
Jesus
maybe
came up
that's
with
something
that.
that we need to talk to them about, it's just, their verbal approach as well, and how they're describing what they're doing, you know? The other thing, Renette and I came to, a hearing of the Public Safety Committee the other day, where they talked about a contract for training with Liberty Resources. So already,
They did
Liberty
that
Resources,
yesterday.
is everybody familiar with Liberty?
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, they did that
Yeah,
yesterday.
Liberty is an agency that provides services
Special needs.
to all kinds of people, like, yeah.
Mental health, right?
Mental health, mental retardation, all kinds of stuff. And, they're into everything. I mean, they do residential services, they do medical services, they do all kinds of things. Currently, they have they have 5 counties that they're working with, and Onondaga is one of them, where when there is a call to the police that appears to be, or turns out to be, a situation where there is a person who is in a mental health crisis, counselors from Liberty Resources will go to that call. It was a little confusing to me as to how they determined whether the police were gonna go or not. Obviously, part of it is because these people are trained in how to deal with people with mental health issues, way more than the police are. So if they can intervene, that A, keeps the police out of it, B, frees them up to do more police things. However, if there's a fear of some kind of danger involved, they don't want someone going into a dangerous situation, so there are times that the police will also respond. And that is being vetted through the 911 system right now. The city obviously is part of the county, so we have been privy to this kind of intervention. They're looking for ARPA funds, and I believe it was either approved or it's going to be Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
It sounded like they would, yeah, for training for the Syracuse Police Department. And so it's been a pilot since 2015, and it's started in Onondaga County in 2017. And in 2019, it was designated as the sole mobile crisis provider by the Office of Mental Health and Office of Addiction Services and Supports. But just as examples, in the city of Syracuse itself, 341 people were served by this program. This is all of 2021. There were 790 total services provided in the city of Syracuse. And calls that could have possibly resulted in either arrest or hospitalization was 30% lower than the same type of number in previous years. So it's working, and, you know, hopefully it can continue to work, and they
They still
can,
send them to, CPAC though, right?
if they need to go, they may not need to go, they may be okay after talking with a counselor. They do follow up.
I've seen it in action.
The interesting thing is that they've, in 2021, and I just found it fascinating, 65% of the calls that involved people with either mental health or substance abuse issues came between 7 in the morning and 4:59 in the afternoon. And I sure as heck would have thought it would be in the evening or overnight, but 25% is from 5 p.m. to 10:59 p.m. and 9% is from 11 p.m. to 6:59. Now, I did think about this after, and I'm going to make an assumption here that a lot of these calls are downtown, and there are more people around downtown to make these calls during the day, which seems to make a little bit of sense to me, at least for some of them.
Yeah, it's like they're, some of they're serving a whole bunch of towns and villages, but there's, you know, working.
But this is just the city of Syracuse. So, I don't know what's going on outside of the city.
Well, the rescue mission and places like that, deal with a lot of mental health
Yeah.
issues
And they're
around
open
the
during the
corner.
day, yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of those calls go to them. When I was a supervisor down there, they were there all the time. You know what I mean? They were mostly mental health issues or drug related issues.
The top 10 reported in 2021, referring organizations. So, the Witt Police Department, Syracuse Police Department was 21% of the calls that needed referral to them. 39% came from contact, 24% from Crisis Connect, 8 from DeWitt, and 5 from calls to 211. So, I'll have this here if anybody wants to take a look at it. But it was very interesting. Okay, they'll get it. So,
Is that information available for the website? No website? I don't know if they need to see it or not.
I'll talk to you about the website.
okay. But that's, I have this here, we can get copies made for people too, but it was a very interesting presentation, and I think the police department sounds excited about it. One more step in trying to address situations that don't necessarily need police involvement, and that,
Which is most of the calls.
right, and which, you know, frequently, let's say, frequently involved in
Initially, that's what.
But like you said,
use of force situations.
Yeah, that's the whole fun that we, you know, they just add more social workers and psychologists and eliminate the police work.
Right.
First send the cops to the school.
get their mental health training.
Yeah, you know, but they do get training.
They have a small amount.
They do,
But
but
that's not their job.
But I don't know that without getting a degree in that kind of thing, that they'd really be able to, like, always know what to do in a situation. I mean, I did it for 35 years, and I still don't
It's
know
different
how
every
I
time.
would be.
yeah, I'm in my 30th year, and when I run up on a person with special needs, I know exactly how to communicate with any person, because it's all meeting the person where they are. You know what I mean? And oftentimes when you're a police officer, you're not a crime stopper.
Right.
I know that's the nickname, but you're not. The crime's already committed. So you're doing intervention, and when you're doing intervention, you meet the person where they are at that moment. But most cops who go into a situation go, "I'm the boss. You're going to listen to me. You're under me.
I don't
You're."
necessarily agree with that, but
You know?
I think there are people who do, yes, many. But, point taken. More vacancies, every time you think you're full, something happens and you're not. And so now we're down North Dickinson.
How many people you got?
Just one.
The fourth district.
Yes. And, Latoya Councilor Allen is aware and is hopefully going to recommend someone quickly. Okay, Elena.
All right, so, it's been a rough few months. I came back to the office early February, after being off 12 weeks. And I'm not gonna say that we were slammed, but we did get a good amount of stuff in while I was out. Currently, I'm the only full-time person in the office. And so it's challenging at this point in time, from where we were when I went out to where we are right now. It is way more challenging this time coming back, to say the least, than it was when, I've never been out for 12 weeks, but it is more challenging this time, just with everything going on. And people's heightened awareness of the office, but also of policing. So we're getting a great deal more calls about stuff than we were before, which is good for us, but not when you only have one person in the office answering all those telephone calls and things of that nature. We received 40 cases in the month of February. We're going to review 9 cases in executive session. I'd like to verbally thank Virgil and the Freeland Investigation Services. They kept us afloat while I was out on maternity. They continue to investigate cases for us. We'll get the bill, but they continue to investigate cases for us, and we definitely needed them too. Many other cases that you're going to look at tonight were investigated by Freeland. So I would be remiss if we didn't take the opportunity to thank them for working while I was out on maternity. We have our budget meeting coming up. The meeting is going to be April the 12th at 10 o'clock in the morning, right here in the common council chambers. Please, ma'am, please, sir, if you can attend, please come out and attend. And also community members that are listening, please come out and attend. We need as much force as we can to show support that the CRB is still here. I wanted to talk about annual training day. We have reached out to Bob Stewart. We had him here before. And he's willing to do either 2 4-hour sessions to equal 8 hours or 1 day worth of 8 hours. Now, typically how our training usually occurs is we have some board development in the morning. We have a member of the police department come over, a member of the DA's department come over, and then in the afternoon we kind of do something like what Bob Stewart would do. So we can continue to do it that way, or I know we have new members on the board, so we could choose to have Bob Stewart do 2 4-hour trainings, and that would be in the evening, or we can have him do a partial day at the annual training day and then another day. He was giving us dates between 4/16 and 4/30. And the cost is going to be $2,000 for him to come in for a total of 8 hours. The budget that we're using to pay for that is going to be the $5,000 that the police department allocates from the Department of Justice funds for training related travel and things of that nature. And that's that orange paper that you see that I provided. That is his information as to the cost. So I would like to, and what he would be talking about to us would be police culture, training, the perception of oversight within policing, and he would be talking to us about moving from oversight to accountability. He would be talking about duties of oversight and beyond. He would be talking about what's not working, like in terms of what's not working as an oversight agency, as an accountability and things of that nature, and he's been in the field for a very long time. So,
Very informative.
I wanted to, give you guys the opportunity to review, his invoice. It's not much, but it tells you what it is. And I wanted to, ask that you, request a motion, so that when in fact we do have his training, we already have the motion taken care of for his invoice to be paid, because it's $2,000.
Second? Any questions?
So, do you guys want? Yep. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you.
That's a training for us, you have the individual that comes in, you know, he's when he comes in, and does really good.
He was really good when we had the last time.
He's been here before, and, he does really, really good informative, information pertaining to, you know, the police department, ins and outs of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I would want to do is that if we were going to pick the 2 4-hour evenings, we would do those evenings back to back. So it would be 4 hours in the evening both times, and we would do it in a place where, we could do it in City Hall Commons, down there like we did the one training, so we can be spaced out and things of that nature, so that we can, you know, feel comfortable. I thought that worked out really well. There, you know, there's the screen there, and he can show us stuff, and he can bring like little buzzards, you know what I mean? He has like some interactive part of it, and he can bring those things, and we can do it there. $11.99 is currently still closed to the public. It was the last time, so we would need to be looking at a place that was going to be open. The police department has agreed to pay for lunch for our annual training day and provide snacks. Typically, because we don't have a budget for that, we typically have to ask the county, we usually ask the clerk's office to pay for it, but, when I was talking to the chief, he said that the police department would be willing to pay for food for us, because they have a budget like that, so,
Get some good food.
but so, what you,
It's a good thing.
so, what would you guys prefer? 1 8-hour training day with him, or would you prefer 2 4-hour trainings?
Is this a weekday?
It would most likely be a weekday if we're gonna do the two 4-hour trainings, unless we did it, and it would be in the evening, like around 5:30 at the latest, 5:30 to, you know,
9:30?
yeah, somewhere around there, or, I mean, because that would be the only time you guys could come, for those that work. Or we would have to do an 8-hour on a Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's what, that would be better.
So I need, so I would just say, what is the consensus of the board, as to.
You did great, you did great.
Yeah.
You get celebrated.
We get breaks. Hopefully,
You're not
they be
everything
better
else.
than what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro.
We do it, you know what I mean, we'll have breakfast, and then we'll have lunch and things of that nature, so we do, do that kind of thing. So what we could do, I mean, if we wanted to do it on a Saturday, I guess we could have 2 Saturdays at a 4-hour training. It would just have to be, but I think that I'm trying to make sure he's staying for the whole time, and I don't know if that's gonna be a different cost. You know what I'm saying? So it would just seem like, cost-wise, either 2 days in the evening back to back, or 1 8-hour Saturday.
I think it's Saturday. That's just my.
Yeah, last time we did Saturday, we didn't do 8 hours, right? We just did 4.
No, we did 8 hours.
I mean, it seems to fly by and we didn't have enough time to finish,
Correct.
which is why we're bringing it back.
Right, the one day we did an evening, and it was just a 4-hour.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, it was just a 4-hour training on a Saturday, like midday. That we did with him.
Well, for me, weekdays works better because my sons play AAU on the weekends.
Okay.
But that is a long time after work.
It is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I know that, you know, if we're willing to do that, I think that it works opposed to a whole Saturday, and then maybe we still have our annual training day, but we don't have him on that day. And then we do seem like we have more time to think as a board what we're trying to do for our future events. And the last time, that's where we kind of missed. Trying to make sure that we talk about what our future holds, like what community service events that we want to do, what's gonna be our mission, you know, and we had more training than trying to really do board development the last time. So,
Either works for me, so.
Go with the
I would prefer the 2 4-hour ones.
yeah, I think
I
so.
would plan that.
So do you want like a Thursday, Friday? Do you want like a Wednesday, Thursday? Do you want a Tuesday? Do you want a
Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday?
Wednesday?
Not on Friday.
So
Definitely on
you
Friday.
want like a Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because all my
So
people
shall we see what time?
Okay, so a Monday, Tuesday. So if we look at the calendar right now, so he said between April 16th and April 30th. So that would be the 25th of April and the 26th of April. Does anybody have anything on their calendar for that day right now? Let's just make sure we don't have anything. The 25th? Oh, I have a meeting on the 25th. I have my police reform and mention reimagining meeting from 5 to 7.
You said
Oh, no,
the
yeah,
25th and what?
The 25th, so could we do,
I ain't showing nothing on both days. Monday,
and then I
Tuesday, Friday.
have, I'm not good on the 25th and 26th. Because, we have that oversight meeting, and then I have our progress report on the oversight to the community is supposed to be the 26th. I'm better on a Wednesday, no, I'm better on a Wednesday, Thursday. How about 27th and 28th?
What
What
day
day is that?
What day would you
Wednesday,
suggest?
Thursday.
Or do you want to do like, we could do, well, no, that would just split it up during the week. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to be there on Monday and Tuesday.
So Wednesday, Thursday?
It would need to be like a Wednesday, Thursday for me. Does a Wednesday, Thursday work? Because I think trying to push for next week is going to be bad.
It is.
But if we would like to do the week of the 20th, though.
That's not working, I'm out of town.
No, that doesn't work.
You can
Okay.
do it, I just won't be here.
No, so do you want me to try to ask?
Try the 27th, 28th, see if we can do.
Or do you want to do, we can push it to May if we need to. Do you want to do the first week in May, so we can do that Monday and Tuesday in May?
What, do we know if he's available?
I'll ask him, because I only asked for April dates.
May sound good.
Sounds like that, I'm so stressed.
That should be.
So we could do, May,
Either April 27th and 28th, or May 2nd and 3rd,
May 2nd and 3rd,
which would be Monday, Tuesday.
which would be a Monday, Tuesday. Okay. So I'll
That
ask
would be our
him.
first choice.
And we're not having, a meeting that week, right?
No, we would still have our regular, meeting.
That's too much time. Okay.
we would still have our regular meeting that week too. So the week of the 9th and the 10th of May? The 9th and the 10th of May? You wanna put that as an alternative to the first and the second? I mean, the second and the third?
Because otherwise we'll be down here 3 days. I mean, we'll be 3 days.
I'm down here every day.
You get paid, I don't get paid. Okay, you got a paycheck.
Talk that talk.
We're not gonna talk about pay.
So we need to do.
All right, so I'll put do you prefer the 9th and the 10th?
I'm open in May, so I'm good,
Yeah,
whatever.
So I'll meet in April during the break.
Correct.
Because it's spring break, between that and then Easter, I mean.
Yeah, April break is next week for the kids. So, okay, all right, we'll do that. And so we'll tell them 2 4-hour.
And tell them it can't be when snowfall comes on.
Snowfall, what does that mean?
TV show.
Okay, what else? So, just to talk about community outreach and public education, we have not done much. Once COVID hit and I was visibly showing, we were not doing much, so that's one of the things that we need to think about. Where do you want to do something, CRB related? Do we want to schedule public outreach at the library? We usually do that. Juneteenth is coming up, we usually do that. We have a table. But let's think of, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But let's think outside the box as to what we would like to do, and if the CRB just wants to have a forum with the community. Like, we usually piggyback on things that other people are doing, but we need to start doing something like in the name of the CRB is hosting this. And we have enough community partners that people would be willing to donate some things in support of the CRB, and things of that nature. So let's think about the CRB doing some forums, because we really need to do something different. We know tabling is what we need to do because it is with our community partners, but what is going to be is it going to benefit the community for us to continue to keep doing what we're doing? We probably need to think outside the box and do something ourselves and host it somewhere.
The problem with tabling, and I think any of us that have done tabling knows that we don't get very many people who come to our table. And
Well, you got that big old Easter.
We got free stuff that's on your table. We don't give out free stuff.
if we were there without the OGs, they wouldn't come to our table.
That's right.
So,
Stand on what-
everybody's giving stuff out, and we just sit there with paper, and nobody wants paper, and I think part of it too is the whole perception. I don't know that people necessarily, if you've never wanted to file a complaint, I don't think you really care enough to stop and see what we do. If you've had police interactions that have not been positive, I don't know that you feel comfortable in a public setting coming and talking to us.
We got the West Side thing coming up.
I mean, it does work well, when we just walk through the crowd and hand out cards. That seems to.
So is there a budget for merchandising?
So we have a budget for t-shirts. So speaking of t-shirts,
Yeah, we need sizes.
we need sizes for t-shirts. So please,
Or
yes, I have that right now.
Please email Renee with,
I do have 4X in stock right now, like I just looked at them the other day, like I have, yeah. So we need to decide if we are gonna go with the last t-shirt budget the t-shirts that we had, I did up the budget an extra $100. And our coming budget cycle, we usually get them done through Good Life, to give back to the community and the youth, so we do that. And we have a t-shirt design that's circulating. I can recirculate that t-shirt design and decide if that's what we
the
want.
upside down skyline.
Yes. So we can look at that and see whether we want to have them design something different. Also, there is a outreach budget of $100, and I just talked to the budget person and told her I need to figure out how we spend that. Because we can't buy food.
You can't buy food.
No, we can't buy food. And so we need to figure out how we spend that budget in that sense, if it's us buying some sort of like wristbands or us, which I don't foresee people wearing wristbands that say CRB on them, but I mean, maybe we say something like accountability or something of that nature, or water bottles or something of that nature might work better, but we need to. Right, but what I'm saying is we still need to buy a tent, which is on the list as well. And so I'm figuring out how we utilize that kind of stuff.
So
But we
it's
need to-
what?
Yeah, but the tents that we were looking at are more than $100.
So let's use that and add to. Maybe we can start with 100 and just add to from other money.
We'll see how we can work
Always
it out.
has them on sale for $79.99.
But we couldn't buy them at all, that's the thing. We had to, we
You
couldn't,
need a good one too.
we couldn't buy it from, we had to go through like a place that usually Parks and Recs goes through, something of that nature, and these tents are like humongous.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying? And they're way over our budget, like
So
that.
would you, at my March, since you had, hold on,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, like the money that is allocated for us to kind of do outreach doesn't account for the budget at hand. But I will tell you right now, we saved, since we haven't had an assistant, we saved $18,000. So I don't know if we can be like, hey, you know, I'll figure out what we can do and transfer the budget, the fiscal year doesn't end until June 30th. So we'll see what happens, and maybe we can allocate some of those funds that way and get some stuff that we would normally not be able to get because, but we have to see what the RFP process is, we have to see what those extra processes are in terms of making sure that we do that, or you, because we have to go through the county, and the county has to find the vendor that is the cheapest. So, you have to submit usually 3 bids for the t-shirts, and then the, you know, best bid wins, and that goes all of that. So, we'll look at how we can, but the tent is back on the list, getting us some more t-shirts, and some sort of outreach materials other than paper.
Can you buy that? And I'm not sure if you're talking about TV or commercial.
We can buy a TV ad. The last time we allocated for the ads that we did for the central busing, which just started to come off. Those ads, weren't they like almost $3,000? They were almost $3,000 we spent for central bus ads. And nobody told me that they got the information from the central bus.
There we go.
So,
I mean, it was nice to have it, but I'm saying, like, when people filed complaints, they weren't like, oh yeah, I found you because I seen your sign in the central pub, or, you know, things of that nature. So we have to figure out what's gonna work for us. So, if you guys have some ideas, shoot me some ideas in an email as to what we can do. But, yeah.
I would think that it wasn't effective though. We don't go to Walmart and say, yeah, I saw this on sale at Walmart,
Yeah.
so that's why I came into Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have seen it. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it didn't work for us, because I think that it still was like, oh, you know what I mean, okay, but I'm just
definitely
saying.
makes you relevant.
Right.
Not saying that CRB
Right.
wasn't relevant before,
Yeah, no, I,
but it definitely makes you seem relevant when you see,
Right,
oh, on a bus, or,
Right.
you know, those little signs where the people be flashing,
Yeah.
you know, happy birthday or their dead homies or whatever.
yeah.
Just put something up there, you know what I mean? Those. do
Yeah,
that
I
all the
wonder if
time.
we could do something like a billboard though,
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean, something like a billboard and then still maybe a central, you know what I mean, like, let's split the budget and not spend it all on central, but try to get a billboard and try to then still do central. Like, I like the bus stop, I like the bus stop areas, I'm not sure, I don't think we made it on enough of the good routes for the bus. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if we were on the good routes.
We're not Solana?
Yeah, I don't know if we were on the slime, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
We were on the
Okay.
side.
wanted the hub, do the hub there, something.
Yeah, so
Solana bus and,
we were in the hub area, but I'm talking about the buses themselves. I'm not sure if we got enough of them inside the buses. We got good traction on the shelters. You get what I'm saying? We had good places on the shelters, yes. I'm not sure
the part about the buses,
Right.
is not necessarily the buses, but advertising the central is not that many people do it, so we end up with getting more than we pay for.
Right. They stayed on as long as somebody else didn't buy the slot.
Right.
So, yes.
So that helps.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, just think about
I like
other ways.
billboards.
But I like a billboard or something like that down 81 and along with the,
The best
along
one,
with the
the one
shelter.
that I see all the time, I read all the time, is one on the corner of Fayette and Gaddis. I mean, for some reason, that one just really jumps out.
Yeah.
I think West and Fayette.
Really?
I ain't never seen none of mine, a lot.
They have one on Western Fayette that flashes?
Yeah, there's, I know they have a hospital, like, Big Northwest, there's a sign up there, different stuff.
Yeah, so you know, let's look into that, shoot me some ideas as to those, you know, spots that we think would be good. And like I said, I'm not opposed to doing it, I just think we can split, if we can split the money and spend like maybe 2,000 on Central and then 2,000 on a billboard, you know what I mean?
Like,
You know, 2 billboards.
18,000, why can't you spend the whole 18,000?
I'm just saying, if we were sticking to a budget of $4,000, let's try to split it up where some is Central, some is a billboard and something like that. But let's see how we can split.
What about TV?
That's what I agree.
So I have been asking for us as a board to do a infomercial for quite some time.
Wow.
Where we sit around the table, we talk about the, you know, the myth, we do like a Mythbusters kind of thing about the CRB. So, because I think that that would be great to have on a YouTube page. I also think that it would be great for us to see if we want to go on to, Bridge Street, and do something on Bridge Street. But we gotta try to figure out how we become way more vocal than what we are right now. So let's think about those kind of things, but I think some sort of infomercial, you know, concerned about the police, here we are. But show like everybody on the board so they see the diversity. Because many people have their own opinions as to who makes up the CRB. We're pretty diverse, and people don't realize that. And I think that it's a plus for us to show that diversity, so that people feel comfortable. But do a Mythbusters campaign about that, have it on our city website, but also have it circulating on YouTube, and then do something for Bridge Street, see if we can do something on anything else. And like I said, we can hold press conferences, we can do like stuff like that. We can do a march through the city for accountability, like we could do like a bunch of stuff, but it's gonna take more than just 1 or 2 people to do it. So we have to make sure that everybody's, you know what I mean, on board to try to do that. But we need to do better because we know that we have an issue here in the city. And when we review these cases and we see that people are trying to tell us what they think police protocol is, we know that we aren't educating them as much as we need to be. So let's figure out how we can do that better the rest of this fiscal year and moving forward.
So what's the time frame? What are you thinking to do anything like an infomercial? Because until I met you years ago, I thought you were the CRB. I didn't know there was a whole board, and I didn't know none of that. And I didn't even tell nobody that I was a part of it, because I thought it was supposed to be some secret society. You know what I mean? Like some big Sonic thing, and everybody throwing signals. I didn't know. Like, but you've been the name in the face, so that's all I ever thought. You know what I mean?
Very vocal.
In my ignorance, you know what I mean? I guess I should have knew, but I didn't.
But yeah, and so that's why I say, like, we as a group need to decide what we feel comfortable with doing, but we need to do better than what we have done with getting out there and just relying on other people's cabling events to get us out there and to get us safety. It's just not doing what we need to do. And we need to think about it because our legislation says that we need to do events in every quadrant, every common council district, I should say. So every common council district, we need to have something, and it's actually supposed to be monthly. Like, you know what I mean? So think about that. But, you know, if we can kind of figure out how we do 2 districts a month or something of that nature, but we're revolving and people continuously hear about it, we would be better off. Then when we have things like the budget hearing, when we have public safety meeting hearings, we can garner that much more support for the things that we're trying to do.
Who's in charge of the CNC? You know?
Yeah.
Is it the tone or is
We
it
already, we do TNT.
TNT.
I spoke at every TNT sector.
Well, I think,
So,
if each of the district people go to
Yep.
their TNT meeting,
her name is Tina.
That all these common councils have websites. I think involved that. Plus they're all always going to neighborhood watch things. I mean, I've been to a bunch of those in different things, but there's a limited attendance, but, you know, it's
Not every community has a neighborhood watch, just so you know. But usually every,
side has the money.
But yeah, but usually the ones that do, there are receptive, and then every place has a TNT. But we're still not gonna reach tomorrow's neighborhoods today. But we're still not gonna reach the population of people that we need to reach by going to a TNT and a neighborhood watch. We just have to be honest with
Yeah,
that.
but a lot of times those community leaders are active, so I don't think the general public is. Plus, I would bet, I can't speak to all those counties, but I would bet that that's part of their, you know, they're attending all these things. I mean, they're listed on the Syracuse website,
Yeah.
I bet they're showing up because that's their best interest.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I agree with that. I just wanna make sure that we recognize that we're not gonna get the people that we need to reach who are going to be filing those type of complaints that we need to be seen to make changes in the police department at a TNT event or a neighborhood watch.
I agree 100%.
Well, I
Not
think,
the key demographic she's looking to.
right.
However,
Right.
where is that key down?
No, but that's what I was gonna
How do
say.
you get to that?
On that same, the way you do it is the tabling, but you get the tent with the citizen review board thing, and you set up on blocks. That's how you do it. You get hoodies, you get t-shirts, then people will see you, you know what I mean? And, oh, this is a real thing. Oh, what are y'all doing? And you go explain it to them. That's how you get the inner city to respond and know that it's a real thing. You know
Right,
what I mean?
and that's what I was saying, and those aren't gonna be the people that we see at a TNT. It is gonna be because we were, you know what I mean, we're at a march, we're at Juneteenth, we're at the West Scott Cultural Festival.
Suit up for solidarity.
Yeah, you know, when we do stuff with Interfaith Works, when we do stuff with, what is that, the West Side thing that we do, the West Side Community Fair that they have, we do that. But I'm just saying, we have to think about those things and then think about how are we gonna then interact with the public when they get there. That's the other part of it, like in sitting behind the table isn't gonna do it all the time. You have to be a little bit more active.
Well, where the most complaints coming out of, what zip codes are they coming out of, if maybe pinpoint it that way?
Yeah,
North side, east side.
yeah, we're getting the most complaints on, that's what I'm saying, like, and those people aren't at TNT, so.
I just found out what it was.
Yeah. And there's nothing against that, I'm just saying that it's good for those leaders in those groups, and we need to target the new Americans and things of that nature. I'm not saying it as if it's not good to be there, but there's another demographic that we gotta look at that will not be at those events and how we reach them.
Yeah, I was watching that yesterday, they had a public hearing on and so, you know, there's 20 nonprofits parading in front of you, great stuff in all the communities. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, if you all this great stuff, how do people who really need it introduce you? How do they find these people? Where's the, I don't know, the directory? You know, so they must be some sort of contact system that when people can't pay for a new roof and they go to this group that helps them. There must be some, just gonna be
Word of mouth.
It's only gonna be word of mouth from somebody who knows about that program, but
Or
there
people
is.
calling 211 and.
But 211 isn't getting everything that needs to be done either.
Well, nothing is gonna get everything.
No, I agree with that, but what I'm saying is that we know the group of people that are most likely having the most interaction, and we need to make as much of a bang for our buck in our time to get into those areas. I'm not saying that any one way is gonna get everybody, but I'm just saying that we gotta take it to the streets. And that's all I'm saying.
And most young black people who have problems with police officers are not calling 211. 211 is something that's usually used when you're homeless or when you're in one of those
I was
situations.
speaking to Richard saying,
No,
how
sure.
are people finding out about me getting a new roof and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
I wouldn't
People-
know to call 211.
People are calling, everything now is so digitalized that it's really difficult to get the word out that needs to get out.
If I wanted to
Us
do
or
something
anybody
else,
else.
I would go on Facebook and be like, yo, who
Right,
knows
who knows
anybody
this? Right.
that can put on work? And that's what I did a month ago.
And that, 6.7.
But it's like, you know, how, do we, have anybody that can check our Facebook page, like how many
Yeah.
people vote with? And-
Yeah, I have that statistic,
Okay.
because I'm the one that's posting.
No, I know.
Yeah, so I have those statistics. I'm just saying, let's think about proactively, and then when we have our training, let's come with a plan. That's all I'm saying is like, I'm putting it out there early so we can come with a plan, because we need to be moving and shaking.
Your communication.
Moving and shaking in the mass.
Your communication.
We'll
You
move
know,
and shake.
sign me up for everything.
You know, I mean, I think that, you know, that's been my thing since the beginning, we've gotta get into the schools. And I don't know how we do that, whether it's an assembly that we
But
speak
it's
out.
it's a whole different conversation, and we should have that conversation at another time. It's a whole,
Okay,
it's a whole different.
No problem.
It is a whole different,
Community organizations,
don't have any current.
public comment, anything you wanna talk about tonight?
First, I want to speak about that, they had a thing on the news with, I think it was the sheriff, they had training as far as, you know, like the thing, and they had training with, as far as use of force and, you know, negotiating with people with mental health and so on like that, they had that on there. And the guy made a good point, he said that a lot of them got 2 years training, and they got to continue so that they can refresh. They got to constantly refreshing, just where they don't forget and lose the touch on how to negotiate or how to talk to people with mental. So they got to constantly be refreshing that. Okay, then I want to speak about this bus sign thing. With the sign thing and something like that, I don't like to brag or anything like that. I don't like, you know, but when they first, I had went around to all the bus stops in all the city, and I gave it to Joey. Joey went around and checked out all the bus stops, and they had the signs made to put on the stops. And also, he had the signs put on the bus. That was something that I had requested that he put on the bus. And I've been coming here, you know, for years now. I don't like to brag or anything like that. But them signs on the buses is very important. And I'm saying, and so I don't take, you know, and when you said that, you don't know, them signs is important on the bus. People pay attention. They ain't got to call you and say, well, I seen it on the, they ain't got to tell you all of that for them to find out. You see what I'm saying? So when you have said that you haven't received any calls saying that they sent on a bus, that don't mean that ain't where they got the information from. You see, because a lot of people ride them buses, and now it's dollar fare. You're gonna have more people riding the buses and so on like that. Them signs on the bus, and then it was a thing where we had signs on the buses going to all parts of the city. So we hadn't had a list of all the buses that the signs was on. Because the people that put them up on the buses, they gave them a whole list of all the buses that the sign, and it was going to all parts of the city, north, east, south, west, where every part of the city. Them signs is effective. They ain't gotta call you to tell you that that's where they got the information. Believe me, a lot of people look, they see that. I constantly look at the sign. You see, and I ride the bus every day, or, you know what I'm saying? I done been on the bus 3 times today. You see what I'm saying? So them signs is effective. They ain't gotta let you know that that's where they got the information from. That don't mean that ain't where they got it from. And I've been asking and begging that them signs, because I know because them signs be, and then you talking about the billboard. You ain't gonna get but so much time. Everybody trying to get a billboard. You ain't gonna get but so much time on a billboard. You see, so that's gonna be a lot of money, and you ain't gonna get but a certain amount of time on that billboard. So I think that would be good in a way, But the thing is, you can go to some of these radio shows in Syracuse. You can go Bridge. Bridge is a good thing too, because a lot of people be looking at Bridge. So if Joey went on Bridge. Joey been on a lot of them, the Syracuse City talk shows. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying you can get that from me because you got you got all types of people that be looking at, listening to these radio shows. You got George Fitzpatrick, he got a talk show on every weekend. You see what I'm saying? You got other talk shows. It's like the lady that works in City Hall. She got a talk. Her and her husband got a talk show. You see what I'm saying? But if you really trying to get the thing out, you get on some of these talk shows. You know what I'm saying? People be listening to it. People be listening to some of them, a lot of them shows. But I'm still, and I'm saying, I've been saying it for a couple of years now that.
No,
No, you
go ahead.
I've been saying for a couple of years now that them bus signs is effective. You need them, and for some reason they ain't been going up. Them signs came up. They just recently started taking off them bus signs, but them signs been up for years. I remember when we first put up the bus signs. Them signs was up for like about 3 or 4 years.
Well, we put up the signs and we only have money every fiscal year. We don't have recurring money.
But I'm saying sometimes them signs be up longer because
Right,
them
but-
signs, them buses don't be filled up all the time on the
So
tunnel.
all I'm saying is that I'm not saying that we won't, I'm saying that we only can, when we pay for them, we only have one-time money to pay for them.
I
And then
understand.
we have to visit it next year.
I understand
And then
that,
we have to visit it the
but
year
I've been
after.
talking for the past 3 years, trying to renew that, and you've been saying that, y'all been saying that,
We
you,
did it the year, we didn't do it last year, we did it the year before, and some of those signs are still out there. Well, then that must mean that they took them down because somebody bought the space.
it's always spaces on them buses. I ride the bus all the
Yeah, but
time.
we only have a limited amount of money that we can spend, and so we spent that money, and then Central decides when to take those things down. We don't have a lot of money. That's one of the
understand.
things that we can have people talk at the budget meeting. We need more money to
But them
do-
signs is real important. They advocating. I mean, I understand. So I think it should be a regular thing that be added into that thing for them buses, because you got them kids that be riding them buses, and you got people that and the fare is $1, so you're gonna have even more people riding the buses. You see what I'm saying? And I think that should be a regular thing. This way you ain't got to keep on going through the same process. Man, make that a thing where the bus signs is automatically put into that. I mean, because just keep on like that, it don't make no sense to me.
It's just because the money gets spent one time and then we have to wait till next year.
I understand.
And
But that should be
that's all I'm saying.
that should be an automatic policy though, because I'm saying the bus signs is very, very effective. They ain't got to call you and let you know that that's where they got it from. And then on the bus stops, that's effective right there. Them billboards, okay, I ain't saying, I don't know too much about that right there, but the one thing I could say, that everybody is trying to get a billboard. When people pass away, they trying to get a billboard. So you ain't gonna get for so much time on that right there. You're gonna be spending money on a billboard, and you ain't gonna be getting so much, what is it, 30 days or something like that, if that, for a
Yeah,
bill?
that's all they give us for that amount of money though. We spent $4,000 and technically we only got 30 days for $4,000.
And you will get way more on the buses. You can add on
That's
to,
what I'm telling you, we spent $4,000. They said that the signs could stay on the bus for 30 days until somebody else bought the stock up. So that's what we spent, $4,000 for a month.
It's a lot of money.
They stayed up longer than that though.
yeah, but they stayed up longer than that,
There's
so,
no guarantee.
no, it's not guaranteed, but
The sign,
you can take your
twirling
chances.
it, all that.
You can take your
$4,000.
chances.
Right.
I mean, it ain't no guarantee, but a lot of time, most of the time, they stay up more than what you paid for. So I would prefer you taking a chance on that right there and letting it stay in you, because a lot of times, because it's always spaces on the buses, but you just got to make sure them signs is going to all parts of the city. You see, it can't just be going to the south side, it got to go to the north side, this way everybody
Yeah,
can
they
see.
decide which buses they put them on. We don't have, the only thing that we get to choose is what shelters that we get to
Yeah,
put on.
yeah.
Past that point, they're gonna choose which
But you can let them know that you wanted to go to all sides of the town. At least two buses going to two sides. You can make that suggestion right there. Huh? Yeah.
We'll revisit it again and see if we can get them to last longer than what they were. But
You
that's
can't ask them because you can ask them, they ain't gonna do it. They're gonna tell you that they can't do it.
But that's what the contract says, $4,000 for 30 days. So that's all we're technically paying for.
But it usually stay up longer than.
I understand, but that's what they're gonna tell me, this is the time frame that you get for that amount of money.
So
That's what they'll guarantee.
you say 4K for 30 days?
Yep.
And that's a public authority and they're charging another government that type of rate? Isn't there a better rate for a government entity?
They know we're coming from the city. Yep, that's what they're charging us for.
Maybe the political structure higher up can get involved where maybe a grant or something could be done where it can go for free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mayor can.
That makes sense right there.
I'm sure the mayor knows someone down at the upper echelon down at the regional authority down there where.
Yeah. Cause that's a lot of money for 30 days.
Yeah, I can see if you're like, you wanna put your Burger King ad up or your McDonald's.
Or the mall.
Yeah. This is a corporation.
That's another place. That's another place you gotta try to get a. That's another place you gotta try to get a thing in the mall. In the mall, and try to. Yo, that's another place right there.
Right where they get a free, Chinese food, a little stick. We sat right next to
Or where
it.
they sell the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah.
That's another place right there. The mall would be a good place.
So what?
Thank you for stopping. I mean, please don't take offense as to, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying the $4,000 for 30 days is just a lot of money if we can't guarantee that they're really only taking them down when somebody else buys the spot. So,
And you will let us know at the next meeting what you think.
Yeah, I've been on top of this for like 10 years now.
yeah.
I've been on top of that. I was one of the ones that started that, requested the bus signs and stuff like that. I went around to look at the signs, catching the bus all sides of town, and then Joey drove around and looked at, and he said, yeah, this is a good spot. Did he even question it to the people that put it up?
Thank you, Ms. Howard. We really appreciate it.
Okay, I need
And I think that's a good thing, what he said too. The mayor and them, they can pull some
and
strings.
you already brought it, no, so she's gonna follow up with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good man.
All right, we need a motion if we're gonna move forward.
Motion to go into executive session.
I make the motion.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you as always.
See you next month.
Okay, yeah.
Bring some folks with you.
Good to be able to see you. I like to come out.
Welcome back.
If they come, they come. I ain't trying to drag nobody. If they come, they come. If they, I just want to get me here. I've been coming here for all these years. You know.